Hello everyone and welcome! This is a very special episode of Mobile Madness. I'm Enigmius and today we're talking about Fallout Shelter, only we're not doing an overview, we're doing a little bit of a guide. Now this is a project that's been in the works for some time, just gathering the footage that I wanted to be able to show you guys. In response to a lot of the feedback that I've seen about the game from people who were kind of unhappy with what had happened to them, about how to develop your dwellers in your vault and all these other things to handle the different challenges that'll come your way, specifically death claws and really savage mole rats, because those are the ones that I hear people complaining the most about, because it's not really difficult, it's not complicated, but it may not necessarily be the first thing that you think of when you're trying to decide on your own how to approach developing your vault. So the first thing that I want to point out is that the game changes when your population hits 60. When your population hits 60, death claws become an option. They can come in from the wasteland, attack your vaults, and do horrible things if your dwellers aren't prepared. And the mole rats that you're already familiar with, if you've played anywhere near close to 60, become much more viral. They spread much faster throughout your vaults, and it can become a real serious problem if you have dwellers that aren't really prepared to fight them, because you end up having to watch so many fights in so many different places and try and keep everyone fighting and topped up. So population of 60 is sort of that mark that you can see coming. You can decide for yourself when you want to cross that, and if you don't want to cross it, you want to focus on developing your dwellers, then that's a good idea to do that. And then when you're ready, you hit the 60 population cap and you move on from there. The other thing, and the very important thing, basically the underpinning theory behind all of this, is the importance of the endurance stat to all of your dwellers. Now, endurance is the only stat that we know of, based on the theory crafting that's been done, that creates a benefit for your dwellers as they level up that's permanent. So if you take a dweller from level 1 to 50, starting at level 1, you get their endurance up to 10, and then you level them up to 50, they're going to have a much, much higher maximum health pool than a dweller that you leveled from 1 to 50 with their basic starting endurance of 1 or 2. The importance of this can't be overstated. This is basically what allows your dwellers to survive when death claws are wailing on them and when mole rats are spreading every which way throughout your vault and you're trying to keep everyone alive. Keeping your dwellers alive is what allows you to kill the bad guys that are giving you such a hard time. I've seen comments about people talking about like invincible mole rats and death claws and raiders, invincible anything, which to me basically reads as their weapons were unfortunately probably not very good. Their endurance was very low, and at that point it doesn't really matter what their level was because they don't have the health or the firepower to win the event. And that can be very frustrating. I can absolutely appreciate that, but what we want to do first and foremost is drive home the notion that the first thing we do with brand new dwellers, no matter how we get them, whether we get them as babies, whether we get them from the wasteland, whether we get them from cards, it doesn't matter, is we put them in the fitness room and we raise their endurance to 10. Always to 10. There's no point doing it halfway. You might as well go all the way to 10 for every new dweller. However many times you need to expand and upgrade your fitness room to make it all happen, that's what we need to do. We need to get their endurance to 10, and then from there you can make the decision for yourself. Do you want this to be a specialist that basically gets plunked in one power or one production room, and that's all they ever do, and you just want to level up that one specific special stat that matches that room and call it good? You can do that. If you want to be a nut bar like me and raise all of their special stats up to 10, you can do that too, but it takes a long time. For each dweller, it takes at least about 2 weeks real time. It's not difficult, but if you don't have the patience, the main thing is endurance to 10 and one other stat to 10. Now the second stage in this whole process, after we've done the training, we've got the stats where we want them. Again, you make the decision what you want for the stats. Then we send them out into the wasteland. We give them 25 stim packs. I usually give my dwellers 10 to 12 rat away. Give them an outfit with endurance on it, because the general consensus, as far as I've seen, is that even though 10 is the soft cap for endurance and every other stat, having it higher as a result of gear still offers a benefit over just having the 10 endurance. So it could be more maximum health than you would get if you just had the 10 endurance. The best weapon you can give them, whatever weapon you have that you can send them out to the wasteland with, it's going to help them kill things faster, means they're going to take less damage, they're going to get more experience, they're going to get more goodies, all these other things. So a good weapon is important. Give them the best you've got. And then when they go out, they're going to stay out longer because of their endurance. And staying out longer means they get better outfits and weapons. You won't always notice the difference, but I've always kind of looked at what I've got my dwellers equipped with and where it came from. And the things like the Gauss cannons, the flamers, have come from extended trips out into the wasteland. They haven't come from cards. They haven't come from any other source. It's just sending them out into the wasteland. And the really neat part is usually, especially if I think it's luck is the stat. That would be my guess, but it's not a promise. If you've raised their luck stat, my dwellers tend to come back with 12 to 18,000 caps. So in the process of leveling them from 1 to 50, that's the primary purpose for sending them out into the wasteland. But the process of doing that, we come back with a lot of caps. We come back with a lot of weapons and outfits that we sell off because they're just not good enough to keep around. We do have a limit on the amount of inventory that we can hold, so sell off the stuff we know we're never going to use. Better weapons and armor to equip our dwellers with than if we had sent the dweller out for 24 hours and then had to bring them back because they are stim packs and nearly dead. And the caps that we can use to upgrade, expand and upgrade existing rooms, add new rooms, all these other things. So you're killing multiple birds with one stone when the primary purpose is to level up. You get all these other things as a benefit, and then you bring that dweller back and you decide, do I want to put this guy in the production room or do I want to put them in a guard room? What I like to do is have my 6 beefiest dwellers in the first room that the Deathclaws will get to after the entrance, so that if there's a Deathclaw invasion, we have an opportunity to deal with them on our terms with the best dwellers that we have available for the task. So it's a storage room. My top room besides the entrance is a storage room where my 6 nastiest guys hang out in costumes. Yeah, I was getting a little cocky. I probably would have done better if I hadn't put them in costumes, but that's what I had and that's what I felt like using, and we survived. And it worked out pretty well for us. Once you've started to get a cycle going and you start getting dwellers through the different rooms, training your special stats, however you like to do it, what you might find is that you've got some dwellers that you originally placed in production rooms at the very beginning of the game that are probably in the level 30 to 40 range because they get experience every time you cycle the room. You get experience every time there's an event in the room like a fire or mole rats or whatever. They'll level up on their own, albeit very slowly, and in the process of doing so, they'll probably have very low stats. You have the option of sending them off to train their stats and then putting them back in the room where they aren't necessarily going to be too beefy, but at least they're going to be better off than they were with their basic stats. You also have the option of taking their outfit and their gun away and sending them out into the wasteland and not reviving them. That's sending them out for the long walk. That's an option that you have available to you. If you want to have superhumans only in your vault, it kind of depends on how much frantic scrolling around you want to do in the middle of a mole rat attack where they're just spreading everywhere, because you'll notice the difference. You'll notice a huge difference between dwellers that were properly developed with an idea in mind for what we were going for and a method of getting through that idea to the end result, as opposed to the dwellers that we just kind of plunked where they were, gave them an outfit that matched the room they were in and said, okay, that's good, we'll go on to the next one. And that's really all that it comes down to is, first of all, manage your population. Don't go past 60 population until you're ready to handle Deathclaws and the savage mole rats. Endurance first, always endurance first. Get your dwellers leveled up with endurance. As soon as you can get a fitness room in your vault, get a three wide fitness room and max it out as soon as you can afford it, and get your dwellers in there, leveling up their endurance. Once their endurance is maxed out and any other stats that you want, send them out into the wasteland to level up to 50, and you'll get all the other goodies that come along with that. Depending on how many dwellers you're adding, you will almost always have dwellers out in the wasteland gathering goodies and leveling up. Once they get back, assign them where they're going to be the most useful. Give a little bit of thought to what you're doing with the dwellers that unfortunately didn't have the benefits of a fitness room when they first started the game to level up their endurance before they leveled up their character, and either, help them out a little bit and kind of understand that they're going to be a little bit weaker, or send them out for the long walk. Whatever you want to do, it's going to be a much happier outcome than not really approaching it with any kind of eye to properly developing your dwellers. And that's really what this guide has been about, is just developing the dwellers to handle the challenges that give people the most difficulty. If you have any other ideas that you would like to share and you want to leave them in the comment section below, you're welcome to do that. If you want to be notified when I add other videos on mobile games or any other kind of games, you can subscribe to my channel or follow me on Twitter @Enigmius1. Thanks for watching, guys, and take care.